noticed, I guess that oftentimes in public places, and we'll can maybe keep this to restaurants, that oftentimes if there's a table of black people, they are a little bit louder than maybe the rest of the room, and they come off as sometimes noticeable. I'm wondering if that's what your take on that is.
Okay, so I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think there's one reason or rhyme as to why this happens. We're just a very joyous, very interactive, inclusive people. Mm-hmm. Meaning we're very expressive. When something's funny, we laugh. We laugh loud, we laugh deep, we laugh long.
If it's funny. If that shit's not funny,
they will let you know, hey man, come on man, stop. You know,
ain't no polite laughs with black people. You're either funny or you're not.
And you're not. If there's a good debate, you know, usually if someone says, well, Jennifer Lopez really has no talent. And then people go, oh, what? You serious? She was Selena's. You know, I mean, Selena's. Yeah, I said it.
Wait, what? That doesn't sound right.
Selena. Yeah, I said it.
Selena. Oh my God.
I said it wrong on purpose because they do say Selena's just like Liam Neeson's.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know. We're just really engaging. I'm not saying that other cultures aren't. I can't speak for other cultures. I can only speak for the black experience because I am a black man. And in my own experience, as an expressive person, I do have a tendency to get loud when I'm excited about something. I'm very excitable. You know, I just really get into it. I forget. Oh shit, my bad. You know, I do that in libraries, churches.
That's something you find yourself.
Yeah, I just do it.
Frequenting in libraries. I gotta, hey, let me.
I'll read a book and I'll just start. This book is. Oh my bad. I'm sorry. Who am I talking to? This book's funny as shit. You know.
I like that book I let you borrow. You was like, yo, this man must spit.
Yeah, I'll be like bars. I was on the bus the other day. I was just mind my business in the back of the bus. I was just like, bars. My bad. I'm sorry. He just said some really powerful shit in this book, and I agree. Vehemently, I agree. Like a lot.
Shout out to a college.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's the only offering that I could really, give you. Is we're just really excitable people. Very. But
okay, maybe a follow-up question to that point. If you are in the middle, and I do the same thing. I think a lot of people, you're engaged in something you're passionate about. Maybe not even tempers, but your voices may raise as you're trying to make a point back and forth. Mm-hmm. Is that something? Hey, we're being kind of loud. Let's maybe let's keep going.
It depends.
Here's the thing, right? So, I used to think black people were loud. I used to. And then, fortunately, had the opportunity to live in other places around the world. And what I realized is not that black people are loud, it's that white people are quiet. Y'all motherfuckers love to like not make noise unless it's in very like you have like designated let's make noise times, let's make noise areas. The thing about living in the US though is that unless you live in certain places, you're going to run into black people. However, if you're in public, there's really not that many times where the black people themselves will be a majority. So you're always going to be drawn to that one loud space, say in the restaurant, versus like all the other people who are like, oh no, we have this decorum that we like. You all have like an understood decorum of certain things that you allow to occur. You all will allow your children to misbehave in public, whereas black people will not. However, as adults, you all will self-censor yourselves. You will worry about political correctness. You will not be all as expressive as you can be. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you are being expressive as you can be, because culturally it says these are the levels of expression that are acceptable. Mm-hmm. Whereas with us, nah fam, we do things to be genuine and we'll always be genuine. A white person before I moved to China said, Chinese people are loud. I used to think, when I got there and I watched them interact with Chinese people, I'm like, yeah, they're kind of loud, and then somebody hipped me to something. It's two Chinese people are speaking in their hometown language, or speaking with different accents or different dialects. Their mechanism to cope with getting over that, to delineate their message or to express it, is to make sure that they're clearly audible. So it's going to sound like they're being loud,
over expressing themselves,
or when they're speaking on the phone, again, Chinese is a tonal ass language, so you have to be loud to express those tones so that people clearly express your tones. But that loudness has nothing to do with your emotions. Whereas with Romance languages and Germanic languages, like volume and tone dictates the emotion behind it. Whereas like say in Chinese and Korean, like the tones express like what the actual meaning of the word is. So sometimes you're going to be louder than you need to be, or like someone say you need to be, but then it's like, oh, well, if everyone else is being loud, then also everybody's going to be loud. So like in general, like black people are going to be loud because like we're speaking again, communicating with black people. So it's like if I make a point, he makes a point, she makes a point, they make a point. It's like, yeah, so together we're going to seem louder than again this other decorum. But then when I go to Europe and everybody's like, yeah. Or like when I run into Europeans in non-European spaces and then they're upset and they're like, hey, why are those Negroes over there having a good time? Who let them off the dark continent? How dare they express themselves? And it's like, motherfucker, you just mad because centuries of colonialism, imperialism still ain't stop us from being great and having a good time. Like, you tried to rob us of our joy, and yet we still here. And we not a vindictive people, because if we was, yeah, a lot of y'all motherfuckers be dead. So, for real, you should let us be happy. And just be happy that we're being expressive and joyous amongst ourselves. And sometimes we even, invite you all into it. Like when a black person's like, yo, look at this white motherfucker right here. Look at him. And like at that point, you've been included. Like you have two options. You can like do that thing where people do like, or you could just be like, Joan back.
Which brings me to one more thing before we wrap this up. Jonan, being that you're from Maryland, you understand what Jonan is. Yeah. Have you ever, growing up in your formative years, have you ever engaged in it, especially if someone just randomly just like, oh, look at this motherfucker over here, like, has anyone ever tried you?
Yeah, you ever caught a stray and you jumped in?
Yeah.
That's usually how I end up in, because I be minding my business. But you catch a stray and it's like, well.
Yeah,
most of it, when I was growing up, was just with like my boys.
Right.
So we would just say, blah, 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 your mom.
Yeah,
your
moms.
Yeah, like that's a really clever comeback that I used a lot. But it mostly just you're busting each other's balls, and that's what it was. So I never caught like some random coming in and being like, "Yo, what?" Like trying to come at me or something.
You never taken the heat off you? Like somebody was like, "Yo, man, look at that motherfucking sweater. It looked like you got it from your little sister," and then you was like, and then you really had nothing to say, but then you saw somebody who looked crazy, like, well, this motherfucker got a half zipper on.
And he'll be like, this motherfucker. And it's just this chain of like, I'm gonna put this shit on someone else so I don't get embarrassed.
I'm sure I've done that, but yeah, you're just like, shut up. What about him? Why aren't you making fun of him?
I don't know.
That's not
me, this guy. Nah, I knew one guy that was so
that guy's shoes are broke. What's going on with you? Fuck my sweater, man. Whatever.
This motherfucker got formal sweatpants
Your
on.
shoes look like they say, all my life I had to fight. Tired of you. After a long day of hard work, your mattress comes home and sleeps on you, you fat motherfucker. How much they charge to advertise on your back? Oh, these are questions that I ask. I just ask questions that I don't even joke. I just ask disrespect. I just ask disrespectful questions. I call it a Gail King. But my thing is just like, I want to know at what point did you or did you indulge into a loud activity? You know, like maybe you were on a date, right? Mm-hmm. You were enjoying yourself, and you overhear obviously people behind you being loud, being boisterous, but saying something so fucking funny that you're trying to really contain yourself, and you want to kind of join in.
No, it's it's not, from my experience, like, well, I should say both. Like I've been out to your scenario, yes, people are just laughing, having a good time, mm-hmm. but there's other times where it's like, oh, okay, these people are just, I mean, everyone can get drunk and be loud, so that, right. I've been that guy too. Mm-hmm. But sometimes like, all right, you guys are like getting up and you're like running around the restaurant and like kind of. You are in a public place and a public space, and I understand that you have a table that's yours, and if you're loud at that table, okay, whatever, things can happen. But when you're, and this can, anyone can do this. Like I said, if you're kind of interfering with other people and you're up kind of like playing games in a restaurant or somewhere that you should know how to act where you are. So there are some rules of decorum that have been broken, and like Kwame, your points like here, like people are like. If we're here, we're having a discussion, and we get a little loud. Hey, man, that happens. Mm-hmm. But like, so.
But that's the point I'm making. Like, you all have cultural decorums and norms that are, let's say, so black people are aware of your norms. We have to be. We receive them through socialization, through pop culture. We receive them through the education system. Like, we're aware of,
Even at home.
even at home, we're taught, you know. So you said, like, know how to act, and simultaneously though, like, part of, I guess, a survival technique to like maintain your mental health is to decide when these rules of engagement are not necessary and when you can just truly be yourself or ourselves. So again, like, I get what you're like. I can think of times where, like, yeah, me and my friends have like maybe played a game in a restaurant where like we got bigger than the table. I don't really say, I don't recall us interfering with much. I mean, maybe like a waitress couldn't get by us in the most expeditious fashion, but I know for me and my friends, we usually like always get the tables in the corner. So it's like, if you walking by us, like, you just walking by us to walk by us because you want to know what we doing. But also, we never have our backs to the door. But that's a whole other black people thing. But I mean that to say, like, there are moments where we're just like, we're just going to have our joy regardless of whatever it is. And also, for real, I mean, if you mad because we being loud on the motherfucking Fridays, like, don't come to fucking Fridays.
You're at Fridays for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you came to Fridays
Expected.
and you expected like a white tablecloth thing. Like, I'm sure you've never been to like a white tablecloth restaurant and there were people like acting out of the decorum of that restaurant.
That was not Ruby Tuesdays, by the way. Just because you have square cloth napkins and square plates does not make you fancy. You're still a neighborhood grubs.
Again, if it's a fucking chain, right?
Yeah.
And like,
You're not fooling anyone.
like, yeah, like if it's a chain, like, and I say that to Ruth Chris as well. Ruth Chris is not a fancy place. I don't care that your fucking steaks cost $70 goddamn dollars. You're not fancy because there's more than one of you. Once there's more than one of you, you're no longer exclusive. You're no longer fancy. You've diminished that value because you decided to open up a chain. So, again, with that, you know, I mean, because like me and my friends being in a cafe, like, it's still a cafe. Like, just because you over here chomping away your laptop, motherfucker, if they selling scones, like, scones have sugar, I can be lit. Them the rules.
That's the Kwame rule set?
No, them the rules.
Them
the rules.
So I want to ask you, Nate, have we been able to adequately give you insight as to why black people are allowed in public
I think
spaces?
that, it's, you're enjoying the company you're with, and, regardless of where you are, you may have, like I said, there's different norms for different places that may be placed and suggested from different areas, and it's kind of a different, I wouldn't say a different set, but like you kind of either, you follow the important ones, but if this is, hey, this rule is here for no real reason at all, like, or maybe a decibel level above what the other people are in this restaurant, is that really going to kill anyone? Like, it's fine, except maybe that one French guy you were talking about.
Yeah, for example, I'm not going to be
Fuck
quiet
that guy.
in like Hook Hall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or like, it kind of like the whole don't mute DC thing. Like, think about that venue, like that venue on Florida Avenue. Like, your whole life, my whole life, it's gone through several names, but right now it's the Metro PCS, right? But it's always sold go-go CDs, and it's always had that speaker blasting on the corner
Every
of
day.
7th and Georgia, 7th, Georgia, and Florida, like where they all, and U Street, where it all converges.
For decades.
And for decades. Like, my mom, when she said she moved here in the 80s, like, that was her introduction to go-go music. And the fact that, like, now they've built that new building right there in U Street. The Shade. They're like, oh yeah. Now you have to turn it off, and it's like missing the point that it's like, motherfucker, like, this is a cultural norm for us. And that's why I said, like, at the beginning, it's like, people of European descent, y'all just quiet. Everybody else is okay with blasting music, as long, like, neighborhood consensus. It's not like motherfuckers out here blasting Green Day, and there are some people who are Green Day fans, some people who find Green Day abhorrent. It's like, nah, like, we out here blasting the community's music. The community makes the music. The community appreciates the music. And just because now you're new to the community and you're finding your, motherfuckers from Wisconsin, North Dakota, and all those other places who have moved in and been like, oh, well, I'm unfamiliar and this isn't that. And it's like, it's the same way, like, y'all call your, like, European music classical music, but it's like, black classical music is jazz and bebop and scatting and all those things, and it's like we don't impress upon you to like it or to find it as a default. At the same time, you expect us to conform to your norms, and again, yes, you have the majority of the population in this. I'm just saying, like, y'all quiet. You go to China, they not quiet. You go to motherfucking Middle East, I live there too, especially in the Gulf. Them motherfuckers got way more money than America, and they don't care. Motherfuckers pull up, they fat as hell because they can eat like crazy. They, hop out with the thobe on, the motherfucking all the watches and shit, blasting, DJ Khaled and shit. They don't care, and they be loud as hell speaking.
They really listen to DJ Khaled?
They listen to everything. They don't care. Yeah, they got the money. They got the money to import everything because they have to import everything. And again, they're loud. They don't care. They don't fucking talk. Like, I shit you not. When somebody was translating, when somebody was saying things, I don't speak Arabic all that well. Someone's like, "Yo, this motherfucker over here speaking like trade fucking state secrets, loud as hell at a cafe." And he doesn't, and I'm thinking, damn, this motherfucker's a terrible spy. But then it's like, he's not a spy, works for the Education Bureau. And I'm like, this motherfucker's a terrible bureaucrat. And then, but it's like in America, it's like everything's hush hush. But it's like there, it's like, motherfucker, I don't care. Like, this is us. Like,
well, succinctly put, it's like you wouldn't go to a traditional Japanese person's house and keep your shoes on.
Sure.
You wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And, just like the whole don't leave DC thing, like, listen, I get that you're here. It's like, welcome to the city, but this is kind of what we do.
This is the city here.
Right. Like, and if you're like the mayor and you don't like mambo songs, then I would
vote that motherfucker out.
I would kindly tell you to please get the fuck out. Yeah. So that's the same concept.
And for the record, Nate eats mambo sauce.
I was gonna say I got mambo. Wait, I didn't mention that earlier, but that's my seasoning, so I didn't.
Thank you. As he puts that at the tail end. All right.